Yeah, eat, sleep, fantasy, you rockin' with the best. NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. We talking mock drafts, running backs, better follow the conversation with John, Dale, Christian, and Armando. Screaming Eat Nation, we doing what we like. Tune in every week, guarantee we get it hype. Fantasy, football enthusiasts, I know you plan to be joining us on Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Yeah, Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Eat, Sleep, Fantasy.
Welcome to another episode of the Eat, Sleep, Fantasy Podcast. I'm your host, John Chapman, and what a week we had at Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Not only did we conclude the very first week of the NFL season, but we also had our 300th episode milestone. So what you're going to hear from us today is a little bit of our nuggets of the week, a little bit of the best of Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. So buckle in, sit back, trust me, you are going to laugh. And just in case if there are still some available players out there, we go over ranks and waiver wire. So please pay attention and make sure that you make those final adjustments before week 2 and start it off right. 2-0, hopefully, if you've been listening to us. So enjoy Eat, Sleep, Fantasy Nuggets.
So Joe Mixon just has an ankle sprain, and he's not even ruled out for next week. I do think Giovanni Bernard is a must-grab if you own Joe Mixon.
Yeah, completely. And the funny thing, man, this has just not gone very well because they go out and draft 2 running backs, and their whole hope was these are going to be the guys that are a little bit more Joe Mixon-like, bigger-bodied, multi-purpose guys that could do a whole lot, and it just didn't work out. Both of them got put on IR before the season even started, so that's not good. But Giovanni Bernard, holy cow, gets 47 snaps to Samaje Perine's 1 snap. And he got full bell cow workload once Mixon went down, and he looked good. He played relatively well. So Giovanni Bernard's the guy to own. I do not think that Joe Mixon's going to play week 2. A.J. Green's still out. But, man, that offense definitely looked a lot better than everybody was hoping for. You know, they bring over the coach from the Los Angeles Rams, and goodness, man, that offensive system, it works. It works.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to downgrade Joe Mixon once he's back. He's still going to be, a borderline RB1, 2. We'll see how it shakes out. But he's, in that offense, he's going to be good.
I am buying Joe Mixon right now.
I know this is your 300th episode, and you guys posted to call in, which is why I did. I had to. I have, I mean, apart from all this bullshitting, I figured I'd throw you guys a real solid question because
Please.
It seems like a lot of people aren't really digging Mark Andrews, and I got to tell you guys, I'm out of everybody. I mean, I get it. That new guy that's coming out, he did really well. The other tight end, I can't remember his name.
Hayden Hurst.
No, man.
Oh, you're talking about
He's
the guy
irrelevant.
for
Anyways.
Hawkinson for Detroit.
There you go, Hawkinson. Who do you guys see having a higher ceiling this season?
Mark Andrews, just because of the
Mark
involvement in the offense, yeah.
Right?
Career-wise,
right?
Hawkinson,
I think he has a better quarterback than what Hawkinson has to use.
Better quarterback for a tight end.
I'm not a fan of Matt Stafford. I just don't like Matt Stafford. I think he's really. I mean, I just don't think much of him.
Matt Stafford's a bitch.
I feel like you can't say that. Can we get Matthew Stafford's contact information and have him on the show?
No, I will hang up. If Matthew Stafford calls, I promise I'll hang up on him.
So let's talk about the first game on our slate, and it's going to be the Buccaneers versus the 49ers. The score was 31-17, and for fantasy purposes, I'm going to talk about the 49ers first. Tevin Coleman went down with an injury.
Yeah.
And Dante Pettis did nothing. Those are the big hot takes.
That surprised me big time. Like, he one catch for 7 yards, and that was it. Not sure the snap counts yet because those aren't out yet, but I was shocked about that. There was all that talk about, all the stuff with Shanahan and stuff like that. Not proving his wide receiver 1 status in training camp, and everyone kind of just thought that was a motivation thing. But now I'm kind of slightly concerned.
Yeah, I mean, 1 target, one reception is terrifying. I mean, it's not like anyone else on the roster did anything besides George Kittle,
Oh, he was a beast.
or Greg Kittle. Yeah,
George
he was
Kittle.
amazing.
George Kittle.
But yeah, he's the only guy that's worth a damn right now in the 49ers. I mean, they did win the game against the measly Buccaneers, but I don't know. What are we going to do about this running back position? Who is the new running back over there, and how serious is this injury?
Well, exactly. Like, he didn't return, so obviously in this one, Brady had the most attempts with 15, and wasn't he number one on the depth chart anyways?
Yeah,
but with a 2.5, yards per carry, that's not very good. But it was go back to your guy from last year. Remember, Raheem Mostert? I think is going to.
That's my man.
Yeah, I think he's going to see a lot more carries come next week, depending on the severity of this injury to Coleman.
Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, you're the waiver wire guy. If the Tevin Coleman injury is serious, he's going to be on your the top tier of the guys to grab, right?
Yeah, it could be a big list of guys this weekend or for week 2, and a lot of receivers stepped up that just shocked me this week.
Yeah, it was a weird week. So now on the Buccaneers side, I think the biggest takeaway was Ronald Jones out-carried Peyton Barber for 13 carries versus 8. He had 75 yards, so hopefully he's able to, carry the ball that much the rest of the season. He could be useful.
Well, 5.8 yards per carry as well. That's more than he had all last year, I think, in one game he had.
Yeah. Yeah. The game flow was weird because they were down early. They were in the game, and Peyton Barber was getting the work. But once they kind of started going down, Ronald Jones started getting the load, and he looked good. So hopefully they carry on through this, moving forward.
Yeah, I hope Ronald Jones does well. I hope he does, because he's got talent. That kid does, right? So
yeah, he wouldn't be a second round draft pick if he wasn't.
Exactly.
He didn't have talent.
And like Winston just looked horrendous today.
Yeah,
he just
3 interceptions. It's awful.
And then and another big huge takeaway from this game too is Cameron Brate versus OJ Howard. I mean, yeah, OJ Howard was targeted more, but red zone, Cameron Brate still looks like he's that guy. I mean, he had both those touchdowns called back today, but he was still looked at.
Yeah, he's probably going to be he's going to end up being a top 12 guy just based off touchdowns throughout the season. He's going to get 3 a game at twice this season, and he's going to end up being in the top 12 just because of those points and touchdowns. So see how that progresses. Mike Evans didn't do jack shit.
No, 5
And
targets.
I invested so much on him.
So did I. Between him and Godwin both, I actually drafted both of them in a league, and I'm thankful that I had Lamar Jackson on that team, because that's the only reason I'm going to win this week.
Nice. Yeah, it was. I feel like week 1. Before we move forward, I feel like week 1 is always the flukiest week of the season, and you shouldn't take too much away from this. Like, don't go out and drop Dante Pettis, and don't go out and trade Mike Evans for DJ Chark.
No, yeah.
Just wait it out. It's going to take 2 or 3 weeks before everyone kind of gets into a rhythm of the football. But it's interesting to see how who's ready for football and who's not, because Mike Evans sure fucking wasn't, and neither was Jameis Winston.
Yeah, no. Another thing I wanted to point out on my waiver wire for this week, my pickup of the week, Dare Ugumbawali.
Right, yep.
You know what? He was targeted 5 times, caught 4 passes for 33 yards. So it's his position. We clearly know where he's standing in this running back position, right? He's a third down back, pass catching back. So
right.
I mean, and
yeah,
five targets for him. That's pretty decent.
That's great for a running back. I mean, he's like a Chris Thompson, like a Darren Sproles in this offense. So he's going to be targeted a lot. I mean, I think Ronald Jones should be involved as well. I mean, he had 1 target and for 18 yards. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, all the running backs are really involved. Peyton Barber had 4 targets. So it's just going to be interesting how this evolves. But Dare Ogunbowale is definitely the best pass catcher and definitely the best pass blocker. So when they're in passing downs, he's going to be out there.
Yeah, exactly.
One guy that is very interesting, and I think his numbers... I think his stock has gone up. Like, he was a penny stock. He was worth 2 cents a share, and it just went up to 3 cents a share. So if he owned $1 million worth, you're looking good. Nick Mullens. Hear me out here. I'm not convinced that Garoppolo...
let me ask you a question. I feel like we need to pump the brakes on this show because you've started out like normally people start out hot and then they like cool down as the episode goes because people fade off in this show. You started off with Minshew, Brady, Mariota, and now Nick Mullens.
Listen, I'm a wild card. You don't know what's coming next. I mean,
at this point, I feel like you're going to talk about, I don't know, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Eli Manning.
Okay, stay tuned.
Oh boy,
you never know.
I don't know if I will. And
I'm just going to mention this. Look. All I'm saying is, if you're like in Scott Fishbowl, or if you are in a Superflex league, right? I mean, I guess that's what Scott Fishbowl is, anyways. I would think about stashing Nick Mullens. First, he's a good quarterback. I think even John, he hosts the 49ers Rush podcast. Yeah, I think even he would say that Nick Mullens is a good quarterback.
Nick Mullens'
want to make a bet?
Will not say that Nick Mullens is a good quarterback.
I think he would.
Okay, make your point.
And
Go.
I think
my frustration is rising.
Interrupting me. You keep interrupting me and then yell at me and tell me to make my point. Just look. Nick Mullens, his stock ticked up a little bit from 2 cents to 3 cents. That's all I'm saying. So if you're in a deep league, he's worth stashing. You know, if you have somebody like, I don't know, Jalen Richard or something on your bench, drop Jalen Richard if you even think you might need a quarterback week 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
Is all I'm saying. Okay? Because I don't think Garoppolo is any good. He hasn't shown me anything.
Who do you think is going to be the wide receiver 2 over there? Because it was kind of a mixed bag. Dante Moncrief looked awful.
He did. He looked bad. And there were a couple plays, if you watched it, whenever Big Ben threw it to him and he dropped it and just like was completely stared down by Big Ben. Like, you motherfucker. like Big Ben's over there saying, you know how many people's career I've ruined? I will ruin your career.
No, I don't think he's going to start next week. Like, there's no way.
I don't think he is either. And it's down to these two guys, Deontay Johnson and James Washington. I think James Washington's going to be the guy. But again, James Washington is that deep ball down the field receiver. He got 6 targets, only caught 2, but for 51 yards. That's who he's going to be. Whereas Deontay Johnson, the rookie pick, 3rd-round pick, they love him. He got 5 targets, and he's going to be a little bit more of that possession guy that's going to be lining up outside. I really, really like Deontay Johnson, and James Washington. I prefer James Washington in fantasy, but, man, I'm telling you right now, this could be a sneaky, sneaky pick right here.
Oh, yeah. I don't think he's worth a waiver ad. I do think he's worth a pickup after waivers run. He's definitely worth owning.
If you miss out on one of the top kind of wide receivers and you're just like, damn it, I really needed a wide receiver, then I would say go get him. You still have guys like Ryan Switzer who got a lot of snaps, but it doesn't seem like he is going to be the guy long term. Just doesn't seem like it.
100% agree with that. Surprisingly, Cincinnati stayed in the game for a long time. They lost 20-21. Russell Wilson threw the ball for only 20 times and still won the game. I do not understand how that happens. But the interesting thing to note is DK Metcalf looked like a wide receiver 1 in this offense.
I agree.
Like, that's a little crazy. 6 targets. Tyler Lockett got 2 the entire game. Like, that's crazy. And he's a wide receiver 1.
Yeah, and did you notice Lockett? It looks like, I don't know. It's like he's had the same issue every year. He's just like that guy that like will just go off for like 2 catches for, you know what I mean, for 40 yards and a touchdown or 60 yards and a touchdown, right? I don't know if he is the actual. I think they're looking for a wide receiver 1 in this offense. And
I don't know if he is
Metcalf looked great. Metcalf looked very good today.
Yeah, no, he did. And Chris Carson and PPR he had 7 targets for 6 receptions. He was their top receiver, really. So that's interesting to see. Penny didn't get any love on that aspect. So
no.
I started him in a league because I was desperate, and he was a no-show.
Who's it? Oh, Penny?
Yeah. I thought the Seahawks were going to blow him out, so let's give this guy a lot of carries and give him some targets. Nope. The Bengals stay in the game, and Penny didn't get shit. A bad call on my end.
There's a few bad calls on I think everybody's roster this week already.
Yeah,
a lot of guys didn't show up. But Carson, I expected to show up though, just because of all the hype he was getting, and I think he's a great running back. I didn't think he would catch the ball this many times though. That was kind of shocked me a little bit.
That wasn't him last year, but it's nice to see that this year. Like I liked him a lot last year, and this year he was going a little higher than I liked in most drafts, so I didn't take him anywhere. But yeah, I mean, if he's getting these targets, he's going to be an RB1 the entire season. The numbers don't show it right now, but 7 targets and the majority of the carries. That's going to make you in that territory by the end of the season easily.
He needs to stay healthy though, right?
Yeah, that's why I took Penny. Like, it's just a matter of time with this guy.
Exactly. But especially if he's getting that much work too, right?
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. If he stays healthy, I love the guy. He's a running back 1. Over on the Bengals side, which was a little crazy, Mixon got injured. I don't know how serious it is, but I think he's going to be out for a while, and I am heartbroken.
Oh, yeah. I invested a lot on a lot of teams, a lot in him. Like that was like one of my first round picks.
Yeah, it's not. It's not pretty. So yeah, personally, you tell me if I'm wrong. If he's out for 6-7 weeks, is Giovanni Bernard like a number 1 waiver target?
Yeah, he'll be a waiver. Well, yeah, he'll be the guy, the backup for sure. That'll get probably first choice, and then Trayvon, what's his name? Trayvon Williams.
Yeah,
and I believe they had him inactive today, so we'll probably see him activated for next week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, Giovanni Bernard is a number 1. If the other guy's available, grab him too, because who knows how serious the injury is.
And can you explain this to me? Who is this Andy Dalton guy that throws for 418 yards?
I've never heard of him.
Neither do I.
He's a man.
Like I was playing a guy in this one league, and I'm like looking at. It's kind of one of these weird leagues where we start like 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, so on and so forth, but we get like the best of the rest after. So we have a full bench, but we get the best out of. Do you know what I mean? So we actually have to start 2 quarterbacks, but we get the best of the other 2 on our bench, kind of thing, or whatever, if that makes sense or not. But anyways, he had Andy Dalton, so I'm looking, I'm like, oh, I'll be okay. And then I'm like, what the fuck? This guy gets. I'm like, Jesus, I have no chance to beat this guy. I haven't seen stats like that. Andy Dalton I think I might have had him my 28th ranked running back quarterback this week.
Yeah, no, I didn't expect this at all. I totally expected a blowout, but no, they came out swinging. Again, this is the fluky weeks. Week 1 is just like everyone's still meshing and getting to know each other. I don't know if this is real. If it is, I think the Bengals are for real. Yeah. Maybe they can win a couple more games.
Welcome to the NFL, John Ross. Right? This is what he was supposed to be doing last year.
Right? What the fuck? Yeah. 12 targets, 7 receptions, 158 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Like, he looked like a wide receiver 1.
He just, very, very fast. Blew corners away, left, right, and center.
Yeah, it was really nice to see. And Tyler Boyd still looked okay, even without A.J. Green. I know that was a big concern for everyone. It's like, Tyler Boyd can't perform without A.J. Green. And he looked fine. 8 receptions, 60 yards is okay. It's fine.
Yeah, and another guy I thought they would be... Eifert looked pretty decent as well. He was targeted 6 times. Caught 5 balls, and the other one I was kind of shocked that I wanted to see. I think I had him on my waiver wire list was Damian Willis, the undrafted free agent.
Right, he was supposed to take over that role, but
it doesn't look like that. So I'll be suggesting people can drop him, and I believe I could probably put John Ross on that list.
Yeah, I feel like he's on. Even in my dynasty league, he's a free agent. Like he's everywhere available. So yeah, snag him up. As long as AJ Green's out, he could be the real deal. I don't know if this is real. Maybe the Seahawks are just that bad against speedy guys. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know now. It's just an insane week this week.
Today's episode is brought to you by Manscaped. Probably one of the most important sponsors we have ever had here at Eat Sleep Fantasy. All you got to do is head over to manscaped.com, and you're going to use the promo code ESF. Now, what is Manscaped, you might ask? It's probably the most important thing that a guy could possibly have. If you want to take care of your nether regions without cutting yourself or hurting yourself at all, Manscaped.com is exactly for you. So head over there, use the promo code ESF, and you're going to get 20% off whatever you purchase, plus free shipping. Trust me, as a person who has bought the package and uses it on the regular, it is absolutely incredible and will take care of all your manscaping needs down below. So head over there again, manscaped.com, use promo code ESF, save money, free shipping, and trust me, everything will change for you after you purchase this.
All right, guys. All right, man. All right. A few fancy questions, and then we're gonna talk some shit, man. Hey, all right. My first question is, man. All right, guys. Can you guys please explain what's going on with Todd Gurley, man? I know I feel it was just the first week. It was just week one. I feel like that was his preseason game. Plus, I feel like they didn't want to push him that hard in the first game, trying to get him warmed up, getting acclimated to the feel of everything. So I feel that he's gonna progressively get better as the season go along. But like this whole Malcolm Brown, I think this Malcolm Brown thing is going is getting out of hand now. Everyone, I feel like everyone is casting so much down on Todd Gurley, like the man is injured right now. Like come on, guys. Let's be for real.
I'm going to break him down. Listen carefully. Todd Gurley did not have a bad week one, and they're not easing him into anything. This is his role for the most of the season. And Malcolm Brown, what we saw is going to be that for the rest of the season. I'm promising you that they are not going to beat up Todd Gurley inside the 10-yard line all season like they did last year and expect him to perform in the playoffs. They're going to rest him. They're not going to pound him in there. They're going to let Malcolm Brown take all those hits. And then by the time week 14, 15, 16 come around, he might probably have some good games. But this is exactly what you're going to expect out of Todd Gurley. You're going to get 70 to 100 yards, and you might get a long touchdown run. But he is not going to get those goal line carries. I am almost positive. I'm not that confident about most things, but I'm almost positive that that this is how it's going to work. Don't you think, John? Or are you totally gonna?
No, here's the weird thing is that Todd Gurley got 53 snaps to Malcolm Brown's 21. And so it's almost like they're using Gurley as a decoy because when he was out there, he got 15 touches throughout the game. But his snap share is huge, but you're exactly correct, Dale, and I don't think I've ever used those words in a row like that. He is not going to be used in the goal line very much at all. And now that might change if the game's on the line or something along those lines. But, man, and I feel so bad. We told everybody to stay away from Darrell Henderson. He was going in the 7th round in drafts, and people they couldn't help themselves. And we said, like, from day one, he might not be the guy, the backup. Malcolm Brown's going to continue to be the guy there. Gurley still has a lot of value at 100 total yards, but the days of this is the number one guy in fantasy and he's going to win you your league, I think are gone now. I really, really do.
Hey,
Chris,
you
what do
ready
you
for
think?
this? Gurley is an RB1 in fantasy, and he can still win you your league.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Somebody made me feel good. I'm smiling. Now I'm smiling.
14 carries is nothing to be ashamed of at the running back position. He did that 4 times in 14 games last year and was still very effective. I think he only topped 20 carries 4 times last year. So 15 to 20 carries should be the wheelhouse that you're looking for. The only thing that concerned me about Todd Gurley was that Malcolm Brown got the goal line carries.
All of them.
Only thing.
Not some of them, not a few of them.
So
all of them.
That is my only concerning thing.
Obvious.
However, in the 4th quarter, when the game was close, Gurley was the one on the field.
Look, Gurley was on the field. We're not denying that he's not going to be used.
Gurley was the one
15
getting
carries. But he's not going to be the 25 carry guy, and he's not going to be the guy who gets the ball on the first second.
I think he got 25 carries once last year, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe
I'm exaggerating. You know what I'm saying. I'm exaggerating.
You're correct. 28 was the most that he had. 20, 23, 22, 25, 23. Those were the most.
They're not going to do
5 games with 20 plus carries.
The first 8 games he had over 17 carries.
I'm sorry, I thought
carries.
it was 4.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. In the second half of the season, he completely dissipated. And in the playoffs,
he dissipated in regards to carries, but the touchdowns were still there. The receptions were still there. So that's what you need to focus on in Game 2 of this year. Who's getting the goal line carries? I honestly believe this game was, yes, they're going to be limiting him a little bit. In terms of the snap percentage, I think it's going to look exactly like it looked in Week 1. And keep an eye on the goal line carries. I don't think that's going to be how the whole season goes. Maybe they limit him a little bit, but I don't think that's Malcolm Brown's show.
So let me ask you this, Brito. Hold on, sorry, or Steve, whoever. I'll throw this to Steve. Steve, this is the fewest touches. He only had 15 touches. He had more touches than that in every single game last year. Does that concern you?
Yeah, actually, I mean, realistically, I mean, to Brito's point, yeah, sure, he was on the field when it mattered at the end. But you look at the goal line work that Malcolm Brown did. I mean, everybody has to realize, too, that, Detroit threw an offer on the table for Malcolm Brown, and the Rams were quick to match that. They wanted him there, and they wanted him there for a reason. Sure, they brought Darrell Henderson in. Great, that's fine. But when they made that move, they wanted Malcolm Brown for a reason. And the way that they brought all of that out on the field in Week 1, I don't see that changing the rest of the year.
So the first guy that's going to end up on our column is Terry McLaurin. He had 5 receptions. He's a rookie for 125 yards and a touchdown, 7 targets. Is he worth the ad?
Yes, he's. That's the thing. So whenever we're talking about these guys that are, worth the ad or not, the answer is yes. Every single player has value, and if we are looking at just your traditional kind of standard league, whatever, you've got to go out there and get wide receiver ones. The Washington wide receiver core is about as bad as any in the NFL. I can't think of anyone that is worse. And you have a super speedster, Terry McLaurin, that has proven that, 5 of 7 catches for 125 and a touchdown is impressive. But he's doing this with Case Keenum, who's not going to be the long-term starter there. Guess who is going to be the long-term starter there? Dwayne Haskins, his college teammate. So you're telling me there's a possibility that his stock could increase? Now, I don't think he's going to have 125 yards a game, but they've shown their cards, and it's Terry McLaurin. This guy, the offense sucks. I hate that, but as long as they're willing to take shots down the field, you've got to love this. So, yeah, I'm a big fan here, and we're going to be doing a ranking the waiver order later on, but he's a stud. Terry McLaurin took 59 of 64 possible snaps.
Holy cow, that's what I was going to ask you next. Like that's a very important stat. That's amazing.
Yeah, so Trey Quinn took 62, Paul Richardson 51, and then they sprinkled in Kelvin Harmon, another rookie, Steve Sims, and some Chris Thompson split out wide. But Terry McLaurin is the guy to own here. He really, really is.
Yeah, he had a great preseason as well. I mean, how much is this actually the game flow is what I was trying to figure out. I mean, they did lose Juice pretty early. He wasn't out of the game, but he was ineffective, and I don't know how many times Keenum's going to throw for 44 attempts a game. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm
Well, they were
concerned
up
about
early.
most.
That's the thing. So, like, if you're worried about game script, they were up, 17-0 over the Eagles at home, and they just kept airing it out. And they could not run the ball. They're running – they can't run the football. It was just absolutely abysmal. Before guys got hurt, he was doing nothing. So you take the information that they give you and you say, okay, they're up 17-0. If there was a time to run and just take out the clock or whatever, it's going to be that time. Well, Darius Guice had 10 carries for 18 yards. Chris Thompson comes down, 3 carries for 10 yards. They had to air it out. That's just what it is. Chris Thompson, if he's out there on the waiver wire, holy cow, 7 catches for 68 yards out of the backfield.
Yeah, in PPR, he's definitely usable.
Yeah, for sure.
One guy that I love, and I got so much shit because I've been defending him all offseason, and you've been yelling at me, Marcus Mariota.
Oh, God, get the fuck out of here.
He's okay. He has Derrick Henry now. Obviously, Derrick Henry ran a big 75-yard pass reception and for a touchdown. But I don't know. The Browns weren't supposed to be that bad, and Marcus Mariota showed up.
Yeah, I guess he threw the ball 24 times.
I think Marcus Mariota is a very viable option moving forward in a deep league. Maybe if you
pick one,
if you had
your fence sitting, he's a very viable option in a deep league. Can you pick one? Where are you ranking Marcus Mariota rest of the season? I'm going to push you on this.
Like he's going to be 15, top 15.
I absolutely disagree. Do you want to put money on that?
I know you do because you hate him. Yes, because I know you've been hating on him.
Do you want to place a bet that from weeks 2 to 16, Marcus Mariota will not be a top 15 NFL quarterback in fantasy?
Yes, I'll bet.
Okay.
I'll bet you.
Cool. You putting money on it?
Yes. How much? $100 at the blackjack table.
I'm looking at my math here.
Fuck it,
sure, $100.
How much math are you looking?
Marcus Mariota will not be a top 15 NFL.
Did you just check your balance on your bank account?
Bank account's looking fine. I was doing the math of quarterbacks because I'm looking at our rankings here, and there's guys that are ranked ahead of him that I really don't like just as bad. Like I don't like Kyler Murray just as much as I don't like Marcus Mariota.
Right. The question is, are you going to bet Kyler Murray or Derek Carr? Are you going to bet those guys over Marcus Mariota? I'm not sure I would.
I would. Not specifically those guys, but guys like Prescott and Breeze and Rivers and Cousins and Roethlisberger. Even Trubisky, I'd rather have than Marcus Mariota.
Okay.
Hey, Steve, what do you think about Sterling Shepard in his concussion? Is there a guy to own this week with Sterling Shepard out and Golden Tate out? They are just problematic, but they keep wanting to pass the ball. Who is your guy there? Is it Lattimore, Benny Fowler, or T.J. Jones?
Nope. None of them, but Lattimore has the most upside, I think. But Evan Ingram and Saquon Barkley, fire him up, man.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly,
even though Buffalo,
Lattimore, I think got the most targets. Yeah, but yeah, no, Ingram's the guy.
Evan Ingram, 14 targets last week. That's to me the clear cut number one in this offense this week, and he will be a top 3 tight end for me this week. I think I might play him over Ertz, so we'll see. Stay tuned.
I would.
Yeah, I have Ingram at 3. Christian has him at 4, and John has him at 5 right now.
Tom Brady and the offense, I don't think is going to throw as much still as what we saw in the first game. And even then, Sony Michel had 15 carries, 16 touches. I'm sorry, no, he had a target but did not catch it. So 15 carries, which I think is pretty much what you expect, 15 to 20 carries for him. The problem is he only got 14 yards on that. And if they don't have Antonio Brown, yeah, they still have Julian Edelman and Josh Gordon, but I don't think they're going to throw as much as we'd hope. As far as Kyler Murray's concerned, I have not been the biggest Kyler Murray fan. I don't know why people were so high on him coming in, but 300 yards
really
on his
high.
opening
We're talking about
opening game. That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good for your first rookie game. Because people thought he was going to be doing it on the ground. Only rushed 3 times.
Right.
So
right. I think
that's not
I think he's gonna
the
be
way
smart
people
enough
thought
quarterback
Kyler Murray was going to be scoring his points.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. Okay, so going back to Tom Brady here. Over, and this is going to sound like a joke, and it's definitely not meaning to be a joke. Over under 375 passing yards.
This week?
Yes, against the Dolphins.
Under.
Over under 4 touchdowns.
Under.
3.5 touchdowns.
Oh, man, I think he's going to have exactly 3, by the way.
Okay, so you're taking the under.
I would put him at like 295-3.
Yeah, I definitely a possibility.
I don't think it's going to be
over 4 touchdowns.
The enormous blowout that we saw last week. How about that? But he will be definitely a top 10 quarterback for me.
Okay.
So
one guy
303 is what I would put him at. I don't disagree.
A couple quarterbacks I'm a little nervous about.
Jimmy Garoppolo,
Ben Roethlisberger,
Jameis Winston.
Yeah. Jameis Winston, Jimmy Garoppolo, Ben Roethlisberger, all those guys. I mean, what are you doing with Ben Roethlisberger right now?
I think Jameis
if he's
Winston's
your
a bigger
QB1, are you searching otherwise?
Right, one touchdown, 3 interceptions in a game that he should have feasted. He should have feasted, and a lot of people's fantasy viabilities are very dependent on Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, O.J. Howard, and even Jameis Winston himself. So I'm very worried about that one. Big Ben, it could be first game of the season. Patriots, away. There's a lot of factors there that might lead me to believe like he's set up for failure in that game. So I'm not as worried. Plus, I don't think there's any point that Big Ben like loses his job, but I could see that happening with Jameis Winston.
Oh yeah, for sure. Jameis Winston's backup.
He's no Nick Mullens.
Is Blaine Gabbert?
Yeah.
Blaine Gabbert. And Gabbert isn't even playing right now, basically, because he's injured. Well, not basically. He's not playing right now. So, yeah, I think if Blaine Gabbert comes back and Winston keeps stinking it up, you never know. Ben Roethlisberger threw almost 50 times, by the way, without a touchdown.
He threw more than 50 times. No? Was it 47? Something like that?
No. Yeah.
Was it Winston that threw more than 50 times?
I don't have Winston's stats for last game, but
36 times. No, I'm mistaken that game. Yeah.
Anyways,
Winston didn't throw a lot, but
One guy I really like, Cam Newton. He didn't show me much of anything either. I know it was against the Rams in Week 1, but Jesus, I think like I'm doing this kind of if we were drafting today, I'm upgrading and downgrading. I'm stocks up, stocks down on these guys. So I'm moving Cam Newton down. I'm moving Ben Roethlisberger down. I'm moving Jameis Winston down. Makes sense?
Sure. I mean, I'll give you one more. Because I think the offense as a whole was just a little concerning. The passing side of the offense. I think we have to talk about all the pieces of this offense. The Los Angeles Rams. I was kind of frustrated watching this game because it just felt like they never wanted to open it up. And so Jared Goff did, attempt 39 passes. That's fine. 186 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception in a very forgettable game for him.
He was missing and he was overthrowing guys. He didn't look sharp. I'm not afraid of Jared Goff moving forward. I just think that was first game jitters, maybe, or whatever you want to call it for, maybe not first game jitters, but it's. I'm not going to take too much stock. I'm not going to overreact on Jared Goff. I think he'll be fine, but he didn't look good.
All your Rams guys were duds in terms of in the receiving core. Cooper Kupp was a pretty much dud with 46 receiving yards. Brandon Cooks, 39 receiving yards. It was not a good game overall for any of the Rams guys. Now, on the running back side of the ball, that's where I want to talk about that because the guy that punched it in at the goal line twice was Malcolm Brown.
Yeah. Malcolm Brown. And I think Armando and John talked about this yesterday. He is, if you need a running back, he is a top waiver ad. I'm willing to spend 50, 60% of my fab on Malcolm
11
Brown.
carries. If he gets double-digit carries in an offense that I think should be better, double-digit carries every week, he's not quite Todd Gurley, who had 14 carries, but they definitely seemed that they wanted to manage, mitigate, and give Gurley less work. Gurley really didn't start get going until the game was close in the fourth quarter. That's where he had some of his carries there.
Yeah. Eat, sleep, fantasy, you rockin' with the best. NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. We talking mock drafts, running backs, better follow the conversation with John, Dale, Christian, and Armando. Screaming Eat Nation, we doing what we like. Tune in every week, guarantee we get it hype. Fantasy, football enthusiasts, I know you plan to be joining us on Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Yeah, Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Eat, sleep, fantasy.